I'm going to share with you the top 5 low maintenance garden ideas that you should implement in your garden. Hey, I'm Ronald with Creation Landscape Designs and the Airplane Landscapes blog, and I'm going to share with you today the top 5 things that you can do to create a low maintenance landscape garden. But before I do that, I make videos about drought tolerant landscapes, California native plants, sustainability, anything and everything in between. So if you'd like to get more of that content in your feed, then hit the red subscribe button. I'm also a residential landscape designer, so if you live in Southern California, specifically Orange County or Los Angeles or even San Diego, and you need a residential landscape designer, I'll have a link to my business website in the description of the video down below. So the first thing you can do to create a low maintenance garden is to assume the mature height of the plant as you're planting. So if you're going to use a plant that gets 5 feet tall by 5 feet wide, in the beginning it's not going to look 5 feet tall by 5 feet wide. It's going to be a little small, like a puppy. When you get a puppy, it's a little small puppy, and with time and patience that puppy will grow, much like a plant. But the problem is, if a plant gets 5 feet wide and you put 3 of them only 2 foot apart from each other, then in about a year they're going to be way overcrowded. You're going to have to thin them out and spend money probably removing one of them because it just got massively overgrown into each other, and then it's going to look like a maintenance nightmare. So when you're planting, yes, in the beginning it's going to look sparse, but you have to remember that the plants are going to need sufficient room to grow based on how high and wide they're going to get. The second thing that you can do to have a low maintenance garden is to plant drought tolerant plants. If you live in California and you're planting California native plants and some drought tolerant plants, they are already adapted to this climate. They don't need much water, they need minimal maintenance to begin with, and they thrive far better than the plants that don't like this climate zone that might need excess water. The third thing that you can do is have an automatic irrigation system. Now you might be thinking, I can go out there and hand water, no big deal. But let's say you've got 100 plants in your garden. Each plant in the beginning will need to be watered for 10 minutes twice a week. Can you do that to every single 100 plant? Probably not, and at some point you'd get bored. But with an automatic irrigation system, it goes on and off, you don't have to turn it on and off, and most of them are built with rain sensors. So if it senses extra moisture, it shuts off. And there are now systems in place with these irrigation controllers that it's tied to an app that you can have on your phone, and the app will tell you it watered, when it watered, how much it watered. It'll tell you I watered less on this day because it was extra moisture in the air, and you can then also control it through your app, which makes it far better than having to go to the system or having to be out there with a hose watering. It'll save you a lot of time. The fourth thing that you can do is properly mulch your garden. Whether you use wood chips, decomposed granite, gravel, whatever you use as mulch, what the mulch does is it helps retain the soil moisture so you don't have to often water. It inhibits weed growth, which is beneficial, and it makes the garden look more finished. And because weeds aren't going to grow as often as they would if you didn't mulch the garden, you're not out there weeding all that much. And you don't necessarily need to really be out there much in the first year of the garden anyways to weed or deadhead or whatnot. Maybe after a couple of months, if you see there's some spent flowers on a shrub, you go pick them off. But if you're out there in your low maintenance garden, maybe once every couple of months for like an hour, that's nothing. You don't have to be out there weekly or daily. The fifth thing that you can do to your garden to create a low maintenance garden, a low maintenance landscape, is use quality materials. You can go to places like Ewing or Hydroscape and buy quality irrigation materials like Rainbird, Hunter, Toro, Netafim, Irritrol, and you can get them at a reasonable price tag. Or you can get cheap irrigation materials at Home Depot or Lowe's for cheap prices that break down easily and constantly have to be replaced. Or it's like using halogen lighting over LED lighting. Halogen lighting gets very hot to the touch and burns out faster. LED lighting will last 10 times longer than the halogen. Does not get hot to the touch. It's safer. If you've got kids and they accidentally touch it, they won't burn. So you gotta consider the quality of the material that you're also using. If you're going to use good quality materials and you're not gonna skimp, then that will last you significantly longer.